I'm pretty sure we've all been guilty of at some point over-explaining ourselves. You know what I mean? That moment when you say no to something and before you know it you're already halfway through a TED Talk about why you can't. Sounds familiar, right? Trust me, I've been there and it used to happen to me a lot. But let's be real, this habit of over-explaining isn't just exhausting. It's unnecessary. Let me share why and how I learned to stop doing it. Welcome back to Her Success, your ultimate package towards self-development. 6 months back I broke up from the toxic relationship I had for 1 year, wherein it was just me adjusting for the guy. I hope you're understanding. Post-breakup, when people started asking me, why did I suddenly break a 1-year-long relationship which was going quite well looking from the outside, I would find myself telling everyone the reasons behind the reasons, and it became a continuous cycle of over-explanation, as if I was trying to prove myself or justify my decisions, seeking for validation from others. It's not just social situations either. I've done it at formal settings too. Like there was this one time when an important deadline got pushed back because I procrastinated. Instead of just accepting my fault and simply apologizing, I found myself rambling about everything else that impacted my procrastination and how I could have done it only if. By the end of it, I wasn't even sure what I was trying to say anymore. And here's the thing, nobody asked for all that detail. I was doing it because I felt like I needed to defend myself when, in reality, from whom I may defend myself from. So why do we do this? For me, it came down to 2 things: fear of being misunderstood and wanting people to see where I was coming from. I wanted to make sure my reasons felt valid, like I wasn't being selfish or lazy. But here's the kicker, over-explaining doesn't make people understand you better. If anything, it can make you seem unsure of yourself, like you're not confident in your decisions. That was a wake-up call for me. Here's what I've learned since then: you don't owe anyone a full-blown explanation for your choices. Whether you're setting a boundary, saying no to an invite, or deciding to prioritize yourself, your decision is enough. Think about it, how many explanations do you remember from others for petty things they have done, keeping aside some major events which might have happened? See, nobody cares. Now, I'm not saying you should be rude or dismissive. There's a balance. But you don't need to overcompensate to make people feel comfortable with your choices. When you stop over-explaining, you're telling yourself and others that your decisions are valid as they are. And that's such a powerful shift. And talking about balance, there are certain critical situations where you need an optimal level of explanation in order to avoid misunderstandings and ambiguity. So, if you've been stuck in the over-explaining cycle like I was, try this next time you're tempted to explain yourself. Pause. Ask yourself, does this person really need all this detail? Most of the time they don't. A simple, confident answer will do. And if the silence after feels awkward, that silence is where your confidence grows. Fit this thing in your head, no one knows you better than you yourself. The decisions you take, keeping all the reasons and things in mind, is what you do the best for yourself, so you don't need any validation or approval from others or need to prove yourself. If anyone particularly would like to know, they ought to ask and have clear conversations. Otherwise it's their fault for making assumptions about you. Maintain some privacy and secrecy in your life. Over-explaining is just a habit you can unlearn with time. And trust me, the more you practice saying less, the more empowered you'll feel. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. Have you caught yourself over-explaining, and how do you handle it now? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so we can keep having these conversations. Until next time, remember, you don't need to explain your choices to anyone but yourself.